Leicester City really are on a roll. Relegation threatened when Sven-Göran Eriksson took over, now on the verge of the playoffs. In fact, Eriksson has yet to experience a home league defeat since taking over the Foxes in early October. And his team really should have taken the lead here against Bristol City after just a minute. Yakubu blasting over. The two keepers who played in England's defeat to Portugal at Euro 2004 were both playing. One-time England #1 David James did well to keep out a Sol Bamba header. But Bamba kept possession, turned and sent the ball straight back into the danger zone, and this time Yakubu made the most of James's mishandling. The Nigerian striker's fourth in his 6 games. Bristol City won at Leicester, though, for the first time in almost a century last season, and they were given a lifeline when Marvin Elliott met Jamie McAllister's corner. Only the second time they've scored in a game in 8 matches. And the Robins had Leicester rocking as they pressed for a winner. Lewin Nyatanga got behind the Leicester defence, but he couldn't get the better of the former Portugal keeper Ricardo. So it looked like it would end level, until, that is, the 2nd minute of injury time. Stephen Calker's clearance hit Matt Oakley, and sub Martin Waghorn took advantage. Leicester's 5th league win in a row, and they're yet to lose in the Championship this year.
A little bit lucky, but we are very happy that we took the 3 points today.
Victory in the Carling Cup and at the Riverside meant that Millwall were looking to make it a clean sweep over Middlesbrough this season in their push for the playoffs. Prepare for a cracker at the Den with more action in this match than their previous 2 combined. Millwall were dominant in the first half, and James Henry had the home side's first real chance. This fierce 25-yard strike deserved better. Millwall did eventually take the lead after 15 minutes with pure Route 1 football. A long kick from goalkeeper David Ford, headed on by Steve Morrison, and Neil Harris marked his return to the starting lineup with his first league goal of the season. Millwall continued to have the better chances in the first half. Harris this time set up Morrison, only for the Lions' leading scorer to get his angles all wrong. Just 1 league goal had been conceded at the Den this year before today, but Tony McMahon's free kick changed that, with a deserved equaliser just before the hour. And 4 minutes later, the visitors caught out the home defence again. Scott McDonald did the hard work before exchanging passes with substitute Merewani Zemama. There was a suspicion of offside, but the Australian striker scored his first goal in 6 matches with great certainty. This sudden turnaround in the home side's fortunes provoked trouble among the crowd. Objects were thrown in the direction of the linesman. Referee Chris Sarginson had to call a temporary halt to the match, and there were fears that he might even abandon it. He spoke to both managers after more missiles were directed at Borough goalkeeper Jason Steele. When the match did restart, it was treated to another brilliant free kick. Hammer Bawatsa stepping off the bench to score in his debut for Millwall. 2-2, but Middlesbrough weren't finished. Zemaba this time set up Lita to score with just 7 minutes remaining. The striker hardly helped to diffuse the tension and was booked as Middlesbrough aimed to close out their first away win at Millwall in almost 40 years. But the Lions had scored stoppage-time goals in their last 2 matches, and Bawatsa nearly made himself an instant Den hero, but ran out of tricks at the vital moment, so Millwall's playoff hopes took a tumble.
4 wins from their last 5 league matches meant Ipswich found themselves in their highest league position for 3 months. They'd won 6-0 at Doncaster in midweek, and Paul Jewell has yet to lose a game since becoming manager. But Tijani Belaid's free kick almost put Hull ahead. Despite those half-dozen goals on Tuesday, the home side were finding it hard to hit the target. Grant Leadbitter's ambitious effort, the best of a poor first half. It took until the second half for the home side to break the deadlock. Jason Scotland has found goals hard to come by since arriving at Portman Road, but after picking up the ball with little options, he certainly made the most of his opportunity. This only his 2nd goal in 9 matches. But Hull City are a tough nut to crack away from home, and Jay Simpson took just 7 minutes to make a mark after coming off the bench. It extended Hull's unbeaten away run to 11 matches, equalling a club record that goes all the way back to 1949.
it didn't look very promising after they'd scored, because we weren't ourselves today in many ways, but I'm really pleased for the players because I thought they responded ever so well once we'd gone behind.
I'm disappointed with the result because I felt we deserved to win it, but I'm not disappointed in the players.
Malky Mackay was hoping to celebrate his 39th birthday with a Watford win at the Medeski. In fact, both teams were looking to find form fast in order to mount a challenge for the playoffs from mid-table no man's land. Watford 11th, Reading 12th. Watford were chasing their first win in 6, and 19-year-old midfielder Matt Witchelow created and then missed a golden opportunity for the Golden Boys. Andreas Weimann was making only a third start for the Hornets since signing on loan from Aston Villa. It took him 2 goes, but the striker's cool finish put Watford ahead, his second goal for the club. Reading needed a response, and Michaela Ledgerwood was back in the team after suspension to provide it. How's that for some nifty footwork? But Scott Loach was equal to the shot. Into the second half, and Watford needed the normally reliable Loach to take command of a Brian Howard corner. If only. That slip let in Noel Hunt for the equaliser, and both teams have even more ground to make up on the playoff pack.
A first win in 10 league games last weekend may have eased Portsmouth's relegation fears, but manager Steve Cotterill wanted to end a run that hadn't seen them win at home since October. In a match that lacked any sparkle, it took the introduction of Kanu to enliven it. He showed just what had been missing as he scored only his second goal of the season. Dave Kitson nearly doubled their advantage late on, but it's now back-to-back wins for Pompey for the first time since mid-December.
It wouldn't be unfair to say Scunthorpe's midweek win against Nottingham Forest was unexpected, but a first win in 9, and at home too, where they've been particularly poor, went against all the form guides. Next up were Nigel Clough's Derby County. The visitors hoping to end their own winless run of 6 league games, and they had Stephen Bywater to thank for keeping the scores level before the break from Michael Nelson's header. A sticky playing surface didn't help either team, although both did find the net in the game. But Paul Green was clearly in an offside position before he found the target for Derby. And 6 minutes from time, the home side produced their own most incisive move of the match. Ben Gordon's cross was headed in by sub Abdusalam Ibrahim, but that one wouldn't count either. So goalless at Glanford Park.
Separated by 2 points either side of the relegation zone, Sheffield United could climb above Crystal Palace if they won at Selhurst Park. But United haven't won for over 2 months, and luck deserted them again as Richard Cresswell was denied by Nathaniel Klein. The game was hardly a classic except for one moment of brilliance. Darren Ambrose scored 20 goals last season, and when James Vaughan backheeled it into his path, Ambrose flicked it up with his left foot and volleyed it in with his right. His 5th goal of a season beset by injury. Marcus Bent was up against one of his many former clubs. His header would have made it a 3rd 1-1 draw in a row for United had it gone in, but it's now 12 hours since Palace last conceded at home. Quick as a flash, they countered. Surely Ambrose would score again. But that win puts Palace 5 points ahead of the Blades now, as Mickey Adams still hasn't won since he took over.
Nottingham Forest's win over Cardiff means they leapfrog their promotion rivals and are 5 points behind Championship frontrunners QPR. Pompey's first home win since October lifts them 2 places in 16th. Middlesbrough are up 1 place after beating Millwall. With Brighton in FA Cup action, the game of the day in League One saw second-placed Bournemouth host Huddersfield in 3rd. Lee Bradbury's Cherries took until the last quarter of an hour to break the deadlock. Michael Symes on the end of Liam Feeney's inviting cross. It seemed the 3 points would be Bournemouth's until Danny Cadamarteri pounced in the last minute. And his finish earned the Terriers a share of the spoils. Bournemouth and Huddersfield remain second and third. Peterborough are up 2 places after beating Tranmere 2-1 at London Road. Exeter won at Charlton for the first time in their history. Bristol Rovers beat Oldham and they're off the bottom of the table. In League Two, there was a Cheshire derby at Edgeley Park between 2 teams fighting to maintain their Football League status. Host Stockport started the game in the bottom 2, but they took the lead thanks to this fine strike from James Wallace midway through the first half. Macclesfield are on a poor run of form and had yet to win in 2011, but Isaac Reed's effort found its way through and the visitors were level before the break. The Silkmen started the second half strongly too, and a first win in 3 months was on the cards when Tyrone Barnett put them ahead. The Stockport defence in disarray and they would concede again. Captain Paul Turnbull deflected Reed's free kick into his own goal. And Macclesfield completed County's miserable afternoon with a 4th from Hamza Ben-Sherif to win at this venue for the first time, ease their own relegation fears and drop their rivals further into the mire. Chesterfield won 2-0 at Lincoln to maintain their lead at the top of League Two. Oxford's 3-0 victory at Morecambe means they're level on points with Gillingham in the playoff places. That derby win for Macclesfield lifts them 4 points clear of Stockport, who are stuck in the relegation zone. Our goal of the week comes from Crystal Palace's Darren Ambrose. The only goal of the game to beat Sheffield United, and what a goal it was too. Next week on the show, a clash of the contenders. Swansea take on Leeds. And Cardiff hope to boost their promotion push when they travel to Hull. See you then.